This is Dylan Mcknight. He is known as the Dirty Bulk Chocolate Milk Connoisseur and one of my main inspirations for bringing me into the gym. But with every rise, there is a fall, and Dylan came out as a fake natty, and well, his apology was not the best.
Never asked any of you to look up to me. I am not your God. I am not a king. I am a man. I am fallible. All I ever wanted to do on here was to be relatable and to be personal, to be your friend. I never asked to be pedestalized. I never asked for any of that. So I want to make it very clear. In this video, I will not be apologizing for a mistake I made. I'm simply owning up to that mistake and taking accountability as a man. And that is why you will not hear me say sorry today. Because the truth of the matter is, making this video right now is debatably one of the most selfless things I have ever done in my entire life. You know, the real truth of it is that I could continue to lie about this, keep making money from it, and none of you would ever know. But I cannot profit off a lie anymore. You know, this has eaten me alive for some time now. You know, the way I see it, you guys gave me this platform and you can take it away if you want. You know, if I'm to be crucified on the internet for telling the truth and that is my fate, then I accept my fate. So yeah, just over 3 years ago now, I took a SARM.
Since then, I had made a video about Dylan's cancellation and my personal response to his response. And now that it's been quite some time, I wondered, what happened to Dylan Mcknight? What has he been up to since his cancellation? And I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't look too good from what I've seen. Now, Dylan has a couple of great projects out there that I have really enjoyed watching, but it seems as if he's become a master of something that Greg Doucette coined as spews for views. Now, it's not easy making a video on somebody that you truly looked up to and that helped you so far, but if you're doing spews for views, I'm gonna call you out on it. I'm sorry.
If you've been working out for at least 8 months and you cannot bench 225, that is just sad. And this is what all you guys are getting wrong. To get stronger in the gym, it's not about consistency. It's not even about how hard you work. It is about how smart you are. If you understand rudimentary 5th grade math and you apply it, you can get very strong in the gym very fast.
Okay, let me stop you right there. It took me a long time to hit 225 on the bench. It took me over a year. And you know why that is, Dylan? As you should know, I was a hard gainer myself. I started off at 115 pounds, slowly worked my way up, and now I'm sitting at about 170 after my cut. At my peak, I was 185. But the point I'm making is, I could not eat food to save my life, and it took me forever. I had such a low starting point that it took me forever to bench 225. It's not that I didn't know what I was doing, it's just that I couldn't put down the food to eat. Eventually, I said, screw it, I'm gonna eat as much food as I possibly can, and I'm gonna stomach it. Now let's put it this way, if I weighed 200 pounds starting off, if I weighed even 180 pounds starting off, it's going to be a lot easier for me to bench 225. You see where I'm getting at?
Let me explain. Do you remember in 5th grade learning about volume? You know, length times width times height to calculate total space taken up by an object? Well, there's a similar metric of volume we use in weightlifting to get stronger. The equation is sets times reps times weight, which will give you the total volume. And to get stronger on a movement, all you do is you take that total volume and you find a way to increase it every training session.
Yes, progressive overload is how this works. You will gain strength with progressive overload, but you're not going to have a progressive overload every single session. Some sessions you are going to have plateaus. By saying this, people are going to be awfully disappointed by the fact that they haven't hit 225 in 8 months. Boys, let me assure you, there is no time frame. There is no magic equation to hitting 225. You simply have to put in the work. And notice how he advertises his training program right after this. Oh, guys, I can help you get a 225 bench in only 9 weeks if you buy my little program here. Dylan, come on, dog. What are you doing? Not only is he trying to pitch his little program here to make a quick buck, which there's nothing wrong with programs, but doing this type of pitching to your fans to sell the program, it's just misleading, bro. But not only does he do this, but he also just spreads wrong information.
It's funny how people think eating in a calorie deficit is just gonna get them shredded. You're not gonna look like a fitness influencer just by eating in a calorie deficit, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, because you are completely wrong. That is exactly how you lose weight. Calories in versus calories out. Everybody knows this, and yet no one can understand this quite simple concept. This is just misleading. False. If you want to get shredded, you have to put down the fork. And eventually, you will get shredded. I can assure you. Now, you can cut down carbs and salt, but that's not sustainable. You need carbohydrates for energy, and that's how you get good-looking pumps. The salt also helps with pumps. It also keeps you hydrated. That is one of the main components for hydration. Now, you can do that for a photo shoot, and you will lose the water weight. That's all. You're not going to lose sustainable weight. You're going to lose water weight.
This is because carbs and salt make your body retain water. And when you eat a lot of carbs and salt, this water, it builds up and it creates a thick layer underneath your skin. And this water acts like a blanket over top of your muscles, basically concealing any muscle definition you have or could be showing if it wasn't for that water being there. So you could be 10% body fat, but because your carb and salt intake is so high, you could literally look like you're 15% body fat just because there's so much water in between your skin and muscle, and it's muting that muscle definition. So how many carbs should you eat if you want to look shredded? Most guys in general who just use lifting as their main form of exercise, 100 grams of carbs is going to be plenty enough to fuel you and definitely keep that water retention off. That's what I do, and that's how I achieved my look. If you're interested, you can find my full diet and workout plans in my bio.
Okay, now this half of the video I do agree with. You can't cut out carbs completely. You have to have carbs. The problem is, people are going to watch this video and go, wow, all I have to do is cut out carbs and I'll be shredded? That's amazing. Yeah, you are probably going to carry a lot of water from the carbs, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Again, it's just temporary water weight, dude.
It's been said that eating 36 eggs a day is equivalent to a mild steroid cycle. It is surprisingly very true, and let me tell you why.
No, it's not. You know what's comparable to a steroid cycle? It's taking steroids. I'd say that's fairly comparable. Yeah, you're going to get a lot of calories from this, and you're going to get a lot of protein, but that's 36 eggs, my guy. I'm going to leave that one right here. He also posts a lot of inconsistent content, which I don't understand at all.
You wonder why your chest is so small when you can't even bench 225, bro. Like, of course you have a small chest, and that's because your chest is really weak. And no, you don't need to start doing more chest volume or have 3 chest days a week. No, you literally just need to do one thing, and that's get stronger on bench. That's it. Big bench, big chest. If you actually want your chest to grow, you need to stop doing flat bench. The chest.
But you just told me, Dylan, that I have to use the flat bench. But you also said I don't use the flat bench. So which one is it?
I didn't use a single machine to grow my arms, and they're 5 inches bigger than when I started lifting.
So last exercise that I like to do for biceps used to be like a preacher curl with the little machines I have rigged up, and that's truthfully how I really grew my biceps, because I was just addicted to that machine and I didn't know any better, so I'd do that literally every time I worked out. But now I've transitioned into doing something with cables. I love cable work. I think it's second to free weight and body movements. And
granted, he's allowed to change his opinions on training styles, but he contradicted himself again to what seems like sell a program. I don't know, man. I like that Dylan's still posting. You know, it's sad to see somebody who got you into the gym, who got you to where you are today, to just kind of talk to try to sell programs, what seems like to just spread misinformation. It definitely hurts, but then again, as he said, he is no role model. He never wanted to be, so I guess he can do whatever he wants to. Now, all of his content hasn't been bad. He has posted a lot of videos that I consider bangers, and I definitely think you should check them out. Why he would spread misinformation is sort of beyond me, because he really had great videos and great tips and techniques and tricks in the past. So why's the sudden change? I don't know, maybe it's for views and clicks or clout, I couldn't tell you. But his comment section surely hasn't been very approving of it. Now with all that being said, I think that'll pretty much wrap it up for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.